Have you ever felt an inexplicable pull towards someone, only to find out later that it was all part of a sinister game? Welcome back to Knowledge Journey, where today we're diving into the murky waters of dark psychological tricks used by some men to control and manipulate women. In this video, we're not just exposing these tactics, but empowering you with the knowledge to recognize and avoid them. Imagine this. You meet a charming man who seems too good to be true. He knows just the right words to say, how to make you feel special, and when to pull back to leave you craving more. It feels like magic, but is it? Or is it a carefully orchestrated manipulation? Today, we're breaking down the top 10 dark psychological tricks that some men use and showing you how to stay one step ahead. This isn't just a collection of anecdotes. We're drawing from years of psychological research and real-life examples to give you concrete strategies to protect yourself. By the end of this video, you'll not only be able to spot these tactics from a mile away, but also know exactly how to respond. So let's get started on this eye-opening journey. Stay with us as we unmask the manipulators and arm you with the tools to safeguard your heart and mind. 1. The lingering presence. Imagine you're in a relationship where everything seems perfect, but there's this constant, almost eerie sense that the person is always around, even when they're not. This tactic, known as the lingering presence, is about creating a psychological imprint so deep that you feel their presence everywhere. Let's break it down. A man using this trick will leave small tokens of his existence in your life. It could be a favorite song that he always plays, a specific scent that reminds you of him, or even little gifts left behind. These things aren't just random acts of affection. They're calculated moves to make sure you can't escape his influence. A concrete example, Sarah noticed that her boyfriend always left his favorite hoodie at her place. It smelled like him, and every time she saw it, she felt his presence. At first, it felt comforting, but over time, she realized it was a way to keep her emotionally tied to him, even when he wasn't there. Research supports this too. Studies have shown that sensory triggers, like smells or songs, can create strong emotional bonds. These triggers can make you miss someone intensely, even if the relationship isn't healthy. How do you protect yourself? Be aware of these subtle signs. Ask yourself if these reminders are making you feel more independent or more dependent. If you find yourself feeling trapped or overly attached, it might be time to step back and reassess the relationship. 2. The illusion of space. Now, picture this. You're deeply invested in someone who, just when you think things are going well, pulls away. He becomes distant, leaving you yearning for his attention, and all you can think about is why he's not as present as before. This is the dark psychological trick of creating an illusion of space. It's like a magic act, but instead of a disappearing rabbit, it's his affection that vanishes. One moment he's showering you with attention, making you feel like you're the center of his world. The next, he's gone, busy with friends, hobbies, or work, leaving you in a whirlpool of confusion and longing. Take Emily's story, for instance. Her boyfriend, Alex, was the perfect gentleman, always attentive, always there. But then he started to withdraw, subtly at first. He'd cancel plans, saying he had to work late, or he'd be less responsive to her texts. Emily found herself constantly waiting for his attention, analyzing every little detail, wondering what she did wrong. This isn't a coincidence. It's a strategy rooted in psychological principles. Studies show that intermittent reinforcement, where rewards are given at unpredictable intervals, is incredibly powerful. It's the same tactic used in gambling, keeping you hooked and craving for the next win. In relationships, this unpredictability creates an emotional roller coaster, making you more attached and desperate for their attention. How can you guard yourself against this emotional tug of war? Recognize the signs early. Understand that a healthy relationship doesn't thrive on uncertainty and emotional turbulence. It flourishes in stability and mutual respect. If someone's affection feels like a game of hide and seek, it's time to reconsider whether they're worth your emotional investment. Remember, your peace of mind and emotional well-being are paramount. Don't let anyone play with your feelings, making you doubt your worth or sanity. You deserve a love that's consistent, honest, and real. 3. The roller coaster of emotions. Imagine your heart is a ship sailing on calm seas, then suddenly, a storm hits. One moment you're basking in the warmth of his affection, the next you're tossed into the cold depths of his indifference. This is the emotional manipulation tactic, where he uses your feelings like a chessboard, moving you between highs and lows to keep you tethered to him. Let's paint a picture. Jenna was dating Mark, a man who seemed perfect. He would sweep her off her feet with grand gestures of love, leaving her floating on cloud 9. But just as quickly, he would turn cold and distant, leaving her in emotional turmoil. One day, he would be her knight in shining armor. The next, a ghost who barely acknowledged her existence. This constant fluctuation creates a powerful emotional dependency. It's like being on a roller coaster. You're exhilarated by the highs and devastated by the lows, but you keep going back for more because the highs are so intoxicating. Mark knew this well, using Jenna's emotions as his playground, keeping her hooked on the ride. Psychological studies show that this technique, known as fractionation, is a potent form of manipulation. By swinging someone between emotional extremes, you can deepen their attachment and make them more vulnerable. The fear of losing those high moments drives a person to endure the lows, hoping for the next emotional peak. How can you protect yourself from this emotional roller coaster? Pay attention to the patterns. If you notice that someone's affection is inconsistent, causing you more pain than joy, step back and evaluate the relationship. Healthy love doesn't play games with your heart. It provides steady support and security, not a whirlwind of unpredictability. Remember, you deserve a love that lifts you consistently, not one that leaves you seasick from constant storms. Don't let anyone use your emotions as a tool for control. Seek relationships where your feelings are respected and cherished, not manipulated and exploited. Stop 4. The art of reverse psychology. Picture this. You're at a social gathering, and there's a man who catches your eye. He's charming, witty, and seems unattainable. He subtly drops hints that he's not interested in relationships right now, making him seem even more desirable. This is the art of reverse psychology, a cunning tactic to make you chase after someone who appears out of reach. Let's dive into an example. Imagine you're at a party and meet James. He's intriguing, but he casually mentions how he's not looking for anything serious and how he values his freedom too much. This makes you wonder, why isn't he interested in me? What can I do to change his mind? Suddenly, you're hooked, trying to prove your worth to someone who's already positioned himself as the prize. Reverse psychology plays on our natural desire for what we can't have. It's like a limited edition item. The rarity makes it more appealing. When someone makes themselves seem scarce or unattainable, it triggers a psychological response where we want to attain what seems out of reach. Consider Sarah's experience. She was drawn to a man who always seemed just slightly out of her grasp. He would flirt and then pull back, making her work harder for his attention. This unpredictability kept her engaged and invested, constantly trying to win his approval. Research supports this tactic. Studies have shown that people are often more attracted to those who appear elusive or hard to get. It's a powerful form of psychological manipulation that can leave you feeling like you need to earn someone's affection. How do you safeguard yourself against this? Recognize your worth and don't fall into the trap of trying to win someone over. A healthy relationship is built on mutual interest and effort, not on games and unattainability. If someone is making you feel like you have to chase them, it's a red flag. Remember, You deserve to be with someone who values you for who you are, without making you jump through hoops to earn their affection. Don't let anyone manipulate you into thinking you need to prove your worth. True love is reciprocal, respectful, and free of psychological games. Tops 5. The erosion of ego. Now, imagine being in a room full of people, and the one person you're interested in doesn't even seem to notice you. He's friendly, engaging, but his focus is on everyone else but you. This is a deliberate tactic to chip away at your ego, making you crave his attention even more. This is the erosion of ego, a dark psychological trick that preys on your need for validation. Picture this scenario. Lisa met Dan at a networking event. Dan was charming, but he spent most of the evening talking to others, barely acknowledging Lisa. When he did speak to her, it was brief and almost dismissive. Lisa found herself wondering why she wasn't special enough to capture his attention, and this drove her to try harder to win him over. This tactic plays on a fundamental human desire, the need for validation. When someone you're interested in doesn't give you the attention you expect, it can create a sense of inadequacy. You start to question your worth and work harder to gain their approval, seeking that elusive validation. Consider Emma's story. She was dating Jack, who would often compliment her friends in front of her, but rarely acknowledged her. This subtle neglect made Emma feel insecure and desperate for his approval. She found herself going out of her way to get his attention, changing her behavior and priorities just to win his favor. Studies have shown that withholding attention can be a powerful tool in creating emotional dependency. When someone consistently overlooks you, it can erode your self-esteem and make you more susceptible to their influence. It's a calculated move to make you feel less confident and more reliant on their approval. How can you protect yourself from this? Recognize your value and don't let anyone make you feel invisible. A healthy relationship should uplift you, not diminish your sense of self. If someone is consistently ignoring you or giving attention to others at your expense, it's a sign of manipulation. Remember, you deserve to be with someone who sees your worth and makes you feel valued and appreciated. Don't let anyone erode your ego for their own gain. Stand firm in your self-worth and seek relationships where your feelings are respected and reciprocated. True love is affirming, not belittling. Topic 6. The confusion tactics. Imagine your mind is a clear, tranquil lake and someone starts throwing stones, creating ripples that distort your reflection. This is what happens when someone uses confusion tactics, a dark psychological trick designed to keep you off balance and second-guessing yourself. Think of a time when you met someone like Alex. He was charming but unpredictable. One moment, he was attentive and engaging. The next, he was distant and aloof. He would make plans with you and then cancel last minute or give you a compliment only to follow it with a cryptic remark. This inconsistency left you constantly wondering where you stood with him. Confusion tactics work by disrupting your sense of stability. When someone sends mixed signals, it creates a psychological imbalance. You find yourself trying to decode their behavior, seeking clarity in the chaos. This constant state of uncertainty makes you more emotionally invested as you seek to understand and stabilize the relationship. Consider Jessica's experience. She was dating Tom, who was a master of confusion. He would be sweet and loving one day, then cold and distant the next. He would compliment her, but then criticize her in subtle ways. This roller coaster of emotions left Jessica feeling disoriented and anxious, always trying to regain his affection and approval. Research indicates that inconsistent behavior can increase emotional attachment. The brain becomes fixated on resolving the uncertainty, which deepens the emotional bond. It's a manipulative tactic that can leave you feeling vulnerable and dependent on the person who is causing the confusion. How do you protect yourself from this? Pay attention to patterns. If someone's behavior is consistently erratic and leaves you feeling confused, it's a sign of manipulation. Healthy relationships are built on trust and consistency, not mind games. Remember, you deserve clarity and stability in your relationships. Don't let anyone keep you in a state of confusion for their own gain. Seek partners who communicate openly and honestly, and who respect your need for emotional security. Stand firm in your boundaries, and don't settle for someone who leaves you questioning your worth. True love is steady, not tumultuous. Star 7. The creation of desire. Imagine a scene where you're at a party, and the man you're interested in is effortlessly charming, effortlessly attractive, and effortlessly unattainable. He flirts lightly with everyone around, but never stays too long in one place. He makes you feel like you're competing for his attention. This is the creation of desire, a dark psychological trick designed to make you crave his presence and validation. Let's dive into a scenario. Sarah met Jake at a mutual friends gathering. Jake was the life of the party, making everyone laugh and feel special. But every time Sarah thought she had his attention, he would shift his focus to someone else. This left Sarah feeling a mix of excitement and frustration, a cocktail of emotions that made her want him even more. This tactic preys on a basic human instinct, the desire for what we cannot have. By making himself appear elusive and in demand, Jake stoked Sarah's competitive spirit and deepened her attraction to him. It's a powerful way to create longing and desire, keeping someone emotionally invested by making them feel like they have to work for your attention. Consider Emily's story. She was captivated by Tom, who was always surrounded by admirers. Tom would give Emily just enough attention to keep her hooked, but never enough to make her feel secure. This left Emily constantly on edge, trying to win his favor and prove herself worthy of his attention. Studies have shown that scarcity can significantly increase desire. When something or someone appears to be limited or hard to obtain, it becomes more valuable in our eyes. This psychological principle is often exploited in marketing and relationships alike. How can you protect yourself from this? Recognize the signs of manufactured desire. If someone is making you feel like you have to compete for their attention, step back and assess whether the relationship is balanced and healthy. A truly valuable relationship should make you feel cherished and secure, not constantly striving for validation. Remember, you deserve someone who makes you feel like you're their first choice, not just an option among many. Don't let anyone manipulate your emotions by creating an artificial sense of scarcity. Seek relationships where love and attention are freely given, without the need for games. True love is abundant, not elusive. 8. The power of intense eye contact. Imagine being in a conversation where someone's gaze feels like it's piercing through your very soul. Their eyes hold yours just a moment longer than usual, creating a magnetic pull that you can't seem to break free from. This is the power of intense eye contact, a dark psychological trick that can stir deep emotions and create an almost hypnotic connection. Picture this. You're sitting across from him at a dinner date. The candlelight flickers, casting shadows, but all you can focus on are his eyes. He looks at you with such intensity that it feels like he's seeing right through to your innermost thoughts. Every glance feels deliberate, every look laden with unspoken words. It's thrilling and unnerving at the same time. This tactic uses the natural power of eye contact to create a sense of intimacy and connection. Our brains are wired to respond to eye contact. It activates the social and emotional parts of the brain, making us feel more connected and understood. When used deliberately, it can be a powerful tool for manipulation. Take Rachel's experience. She was captivated by Mike, who had a way of looking at her that made her feel like she was the only person in the room. His gaze was intense and unwavering, making her heart race and her thoughts scatter. It was intoxicating, and she found herself drawn deeper into his spell, craving those moments of connection. Research shows that prolonged eye contact can increase feelings of affection and attachment. It's a psychological phenomenon that can make you feel more bonded to someone, even if you don't know them well. This is why it's a favorite tool for those looking to manipulate emotions. How can you protect yourself from this? Be aware of the effect intense eye contact can have. If someone's gaze feels too intense or makes you uncomfortable, trust your instincts. A healthy connection doesn't rely on overwhelming tactics to create intimacy. Remember, true intimacy is built on mutual respect and genuine connection, not psychological manipulation. Seek relationships where you feel comfortable and at ease, not where you're constantly under the spell of someone's gaze. Trust in your own worth and look for partners who see you as an equal, not as a target for their psychological games. True love is gentle, not overpowering. Stop 9. The subtle error trap. Imagine a conversation where everything seems normal until a minor detail slips through, a fact that's slightly off, a name that's almost right but not quite. You catch it, correct it, and suddenly you're more engaged, more involved. This is the subtle error trap, a dark psychological trick designed to draw you in deeper by exploiting your natural urge to correct and engage. Picture this. You're chatting with someone who seems knowledgeable and charming. They mention a movie you both like, but get the lead actor's name wrong. Instinctively, you correct them. They smile, thank you, and the conversation continues. But now, you're more invested, more alert, paying closer attention to everything they say. It's a small mistake, but it has a big impact. This tactic plays on our innate need to be right and to help. When you correct someone, you feel a sense of accomplishment and engagement. It creates a subtle bond, making you feel more connected and involved in the conversation. The person using this tactic knows that by making small, intentional errors, they can keep you hooked and focused on them. Consider Laura's story. She met David at a book club. David was articulate and engaging, but occasionally he would misquote a famous line from a book they were discussing. Laura, being well-read, couldn't help but correct him. Each time she did, David would graciously accept the correction, making her feel valued and intelligent. This dynamic made Laura more invested in their conversations, unknowingly deepening her attachment to him. Studies show that people are more likely to feel connected to those who seek their help or correction. It's a psychological tactic that creates a sense of partnership and involvement. By making you feel needed and smart, the subtle error trap pulls you closer. How can you protect yourself from this? Be mindful of patterns. If someone frequently makes minor mistakes that draw you in, consider whether it's a deliberate tactic. A healthy relationship doesn't rely on manipulation to keep you engaged. Remember, you deserve genuine connections built on honesty and mutual respect. Don't let anyone manipulate you by playing on your natural inclinations to help and correct. Seek relationships where your intelligence and input are valued without the need for psychological games. True love is honest, not manipulative. 10. The name game. Imagine hearing your name spoken in a crowded room, how it instantly grabs your attention and makes you feel special. Now picture someone using your name repeatedly in conversation, each time making you feel seen and important. This is the name game, a subtle yet powerful psychological trick that taps into your sense of identity and belonging. Let's set the scene. You're at a coffee shop, chatting with someone new. Every few sentences, they weave your name into the conversation. You know, Emily, I really think you'd love this book. Or, Emily, your thoughts on this are so insightful. Each mention feels like a little spark, a validation of your presence and worth. This tactic works because hearing our own name activates parts of the brain associated with self-identity and positive reinforcement. It's a simple yet incredibly effective way to make someone feel connected and valued. By using your name, the person creates a sense of intimacy and rapport, making you feel like you're the center of their attention. Think about Claire's experience. She was talking to John, who had an uncanny knack for using her name just the right amount. Claire, you have such an interesting perspective on this. I'd love to hear more about that, Claire. Each time he said her name, it felt like a gentle caress, making her feel unique and important. This made Claire more drawn to him, eager to engage further. Research supports the power of hearing our own name. Studies show that it not only captures our attention, but also increases our responsiveness and sense of connection. It's a technique often used in sales and marketing, but in relationships, it can be a tool for manipulation. How do you protect yourself from this? Be aware of how someone's frequent use of your name affects you. If it feels overly deliberate or makes you too emotionally dependent on their validation, take a step back. Healthy relationships don't need to rely on constant affirmation of your identity to make you feel valued. Remember, you deserve to be with someone who sees your worth beyond just saying your name. Seek relationships where the connection is built on genuine interest and mutual respect, not on subtle psychological tricks. True love recognizes and cherishes your identity without needing to manipulate your emotions. Conclusion. As we journey through the labyrinth of dark psychological tricks, it's crucial to remember that awareness is your greatest ally. These tactics, whether it's creating a lingering presence, giving you just enough space to crave more, or playing with your emotions, are designed to manipulate and control. But knowledge is power. Recognize the signs. When someone's behavior feels calculated and leaves you questioning your worth or sanity, trust your instincts. Healthy relationships are built on mutual respect, honesty, and genuine connection, not on games and manipulation. Consider the stories we've shared, Sarah, Emily, Jessica, Claire, and how these subtle tactics impacted their lives. Let their experiences be a beacon, guiding you toward healthier, more fulfilling relationships. Remember, you deserve love that lifts you up, not one that keeps you guessing. A partner who values you won't need to resort to tricks to keep you engaged. They will see you for who you truly are and cherish you without the need for psychological manipulation. Stay vigilant, stay informed, and most importantly, stay true to yourself. Don't let anyone play with your emotions or erode your sense of self-worth. You have the power to choose relationships that honor and respect you. Thank you for joining us on this insightful journey. If you found this video helpful, share it with friends and loved ones who might benefit from this knowledge. Remember to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more enlightening content from Knowledge Journey. And finally, if you've made it this far, comment below with the word empowered to let us know you're ready to take control of your relationships with confidence and clarity. Thank you for watching, and until next time, stay strong and stay true.